France. Land of medieval castles. Land of fairy tale villages. Land of art and cuisine. The fragrance of freshly baked baguettes spreads through the streets. Atlantic waves caress wild coastlines. Burgundy vineyards fade into the horizon. Welcome to France. Welcome to the heart of Europe. Known as Lexagon for its characteristic geometric hexagonal shape. This is a land where medieval castles watch over lush valleys, where villages dot the territory, and where the most refined culinary art has found its chosen homeland. But let's start from the beginning. France extends as the third largest country in Europe, with its 210,000 square miles, or 544,000 square kilometers, which embrace an extraordinary variety of landscapes. Here, indeed, nature has painted with every color the intense blue of the Mediterranean, the emerald green of Normandy, the pristine white of the Alps. Over 65,350,000 inhabitants live in a territory blessed by 3,400 miles, or 5,500 kilometers, of coastlines lapped by 3 different seas. The Atlantic Ocean beats the western shores. The English Channel separates France from England to the north, and the Mediterranean Sea caresses the southern coast with its salty breeze. But this European giant also hides a surprising record, being the nation with the most time zones in the world. Thanks to its overseas territory scattered in every corner of the planet, such as French Guiana or French Polynesia, France has no fewer than 12 different time zones, more than any other nation on Earth. Crossing its regions furthermore, the landscape reveals itself as varied, with over 40,000 castles and ruins that dot the territory, tangible testimonies of the grandeur of its feudal and royal past. These monuments narrate centuries of conquests, of courtly splendors, and of revolutions that have shaped all of Europe. In the hills of Burgundy and in the gentle valleys of Bordeaux, French soil reveals one of its most precious treasures. And we're talking about vineyards, which have made these regions true worldwide institutions for the production of excellent wines. But this land doesn't nourish only with its wines every day. From its boulangerie, which would be the bakeries, about 27 million baguettes emerge, for a total of 10 billion per year. Each of these is a work of art and bread making, and must respect rigorous standards for ingredients and dimensions, continuing a tradition that is the very essence of French identity. French excellence, furthermore, manifests itself also on the roads. Since 1903, indeed, the Tour de France celebrates human endurance through the most spectacular landscapes of the country. This cycling race, which is among the most prestigious in the world, transforms the landscape every July, with athletes from every part of the world who challenge each other continuing. France boasts two important excellences at the worldwide level, and we're talking about transportation and gastronomy. Indeed, in the 1980s, this nation revolutionized the very concept of travel with the introduction of the TGV, which is the high-speed train and which connects the main cities, speeding at about 200 mph or 320 km per hour. From a gastronomic perspective, it is the birthplace of the Michelin Guide, which is the most prestigious culinary evaluation system in the world. And this is reflected in its extraordinary tradition of haute cuisine, with an exceptional concentration of starred restaurants and internationally renowned chefs. But now, let's go to discover the most iconic places and the hidden villages of this nation. French Riviera. From Saint-Tropez to Menton, extends a coast that has conquered worldwide fame for its combination of natural beauty and luxury. The cobalt blue sea laps golden beaches while elegant cities succeed one another. Along this stretch of Mediterranean, Monaco attracts with its sumptuous casino, while the city streets transform once a year into the Formula One Grand Prix track, creating one of the most exclusive sporting events in the world. Cannes instead pulses to the rhythm of its famous film festival. International stars walk the red carpet, while luxury boutiques in the surrounding streets offer creations from the most renowned designers. Nice finally shows another face of the Riviera, with its lively waterfront where locals and tourists mingle. There is also the flower market, which adds color and fragrances to this city. High cuisine restaurants complete the experience along the entire coast, proposing dishes that unite Mediterranean tradition and culinary innovation, testifying to the essence of a lifestyle that has made this region a symbol of elegance. Paris. Strolling through Paris is like leafing through the pages of a history book. Every neighborhood tells something unique. The Seine flows through the heart of the city, dividing it between Rive Gauche and Rive Droite, which would be right bank and left bank. The first is the bohemian side, with cafes frequented by artists and intellectuals. The other hosts famous museums and grand boulevards. But it's not only history that defines this city. Indeed, historic buildings coexist with modern squares, markets, and urban gardens with a relaxed atmosphere. From the elegant shop windows on the Champs-Élysées to the narrow and welcoming streets of the Marais, every corner hides something worth discovering. You can also enjoy a sunset on the steps of Montmartre or stroll along the Seine with the lights of the Eiffel Tower reflected on the water. Alsace. Situated at the border with Germany, Alsace has a soul divided between two cultures. Its villages seem to have emerged from other times with pastel-colored houses that have exposed beams, canals that cross the historic centers, and flowers that adorn balconies and windows. Colmar is a perfect example, with its medieval quarters still intact, which during the Christmas period become part of a true fairy tale. But this is also land of precious wines, with orderly rows that cross hills and gentle slope. The famous wine route connects villages like Riekeweer and Egvesheim, fundamental stops to discover historic cellars and taste local specialties. There are also various storks that nest on church roofs or in house chimneys, adding poetry to a landscape that changes with the seasons but remains always welcoming and genuine. Loire Valley. A journey through the Loire Valley reveals a world of castles that emerge from the morning mist. The towers rise beyond the treetops, while Renaissance gardens extend to the horizon. The Loire River flows between these fortresses, which have witnessed battles and love stories and have shaped France. Medieval villages hide among the vineyards, and their paved streets lead to squares where time seems to have stopped. Local markets transform these spaces into theaters of daily life, with the fragrance of freshly baked bread mixing with local traditions. Chambord Castle dominates the landscape with its 426 rooms. Defying architectural logic, Chenonceau reflects in the waters of the Cher River, while Amboise guards the secrets of Leonardo da Vinci, whose spirit still hovers in the corridors. Flandre, instead, reveals gardens that are true works of art and present intricate geometric designs. Corsica. An island that guards mountains in the heart of the Mediterranean. Here, white beaches soon give way to green forests and deep valleys. Wild nature dominates the landscape, interrupted only by small villages perched on the hills. The city of Bonifacio faces directly onto the sea, built on steep white cliffs. Not far away, ancient paths cross forests of pines and chestnuts. GR20, one of the most challenging hiking routes in Europe, connects north and south of the island through rocky mountains. The island remains authentic anyway, proud of its traditions and jealous of its own identity, offering a perfect balance between adventure and Mediterranean quiet. Mont Saint-Michel. The sea surrounds this rocky islet, tightening and widening to the rhythm of the tides. Mont Saint-Michel rises on the northern coast of France, in Normandy. At the center, there is a medieval abbey that dominates the entire bay, surrounded by ancient walls and paved alleys. In the heart of the village, small shops and restaurants follow one another along medieval streets. This place has been for centuries a pilgrimage destination, an impregnable fortress resisting wars and sieges. Still, today, crossing the bay during low tide is a special experience. By day, it almost seems like walking on water, while at night, when the abbey lights turn on, everything reflects on the surrounding wet sands, creating an almost surreal atmosphere. Provence. Imagine strolling through infinite fields of lavender that color the landscape purple. This is the magic of Provence, where every corner seems painted by an artist. Here, hidden among the flowers, stands the ancient Abbey of Sananca, where even today monks maintain alive the traditions of 8 centuries ago. Climbing up the hills, there is also Les Baux de Provence, a village perched on rock that seems to have emerged from a medieval fairy tale. Its old castle will surely bring to mind stories of knights. In this area of France, one cannot fail to visit Roussillon, a unique town where everything is colored red. Houses, streets, and rocks are tinged with different shades thanks to ochre, a mineral that has made this place truly special. Not far away, the village of Gourds climbs the hill with little streets that wind in spirals, just as they were created hundreds of years ago. The best time to visit these places is July, when lavender is in bloom and the wind carries with it the fragrances of Provençal summer, giving to every glimpse the perfect light. Bordeaux. It is a city that lives around wine, with a history of commerce dating back to Roman times. The streets of the historic center UNESCO heritage show classical elegance with 18th century buildings and animated squares. The Cathedral of Saint-André dominates the city, soaring with its Gothic towers and crowning an atmosphere of elegance that permeates the entire historic core. The Garonne River divides the city, crossed by historic bridges like the Pont de Pierre. In the evening along the river, the city comes alive with lights that reflect on the water, creating the ideal atmosphere for a walk or an outdoor dinner. Normandy. Normandy is a mosaic of fertile countryside, windy coasts and villages rich in history. The D-Day beaches bear witness to decisive events of World War II, with museums and memorials dedicated to their memory. In the cliffs of Etretat, instead, spectacular natural arches shaped by the wind dominate the landscape. Small ports like Honfleur maintain intact the maritime atmosphere of the past. In the interior, instead, farms and orchards give life both to cheeses like Camembert and to local cider, which are two authentic symbols of Norman gastronomy. Lyon. Situated at the confluence of two rivers, which are the Rhône and Saône, Lyon is a city that lives between past and present. The historic center, called Vieux Lyon, preserves Renaissance alleys and secret courtyards hidden behind heavy wooden doors. Its squares and historic churches tell centuries of history, making it surely one of the most fascinating neighborhoods. The city is known as the gastronomic capital of France, with markets and restaurants that celebrate its local flavors. The Basilica of Notre-Dame de Fourvière dominates the city from above, offering a complete panorama of the historic center and the rivers below. More modern is the Confluence District, which hosts futuristic architectures, museums, and cultural spaces. Strasbourg. It rises on the banks of the Eel River, where France and Germany have met and influenced each other for centuries. The heart of the city, called La Grande Ile, is surrounded by canals that flow slowly, crossed by small bridges in stone and wood. The Gothic cathedral dominates the city and is visible from every point of the historic center. In the winter months, the famous Christmas market fills the streets with lights and decorations, attracting visitors from all over Europe. Neighborhoods like Petite France show the most romantic side of the city, with half-timbered houses facing directly onto the water. It is therefore a place that tells the continuous encounter between traditional and modernity, culture, and politics. Brittany. It is a region where the ocean dictates the rhythm of life. The jagged coast hosts lighthouses that have guided navigators for centuries, while tides transform the landscape twice a day. Fishing villages like St. Malo and Concarneau preserve historic fortifications that tell of battles and maritime commerce in the interior. Instead, green countryside is dotted with prehistoric menhirs and ancient stone churches. Gastronomy is an integral part of local identity, with salted butter, cider, and fresh seafood, which can be found practically everywhere. This region is an interweaving of Celtic traditions, changing landscapes and communities that still live today. A deep bond with the ocean and nature. Marseille. Founded by the Greeks over 2,600 years ago, Marseille is the oldest city in France. is still today the vital center, with fishing boats that dock next to restaurants that serve the traditional fish soup. The city develops between hills and coves facing the Mediterranean with beaches and wild inlets. The Basilica of Notre-Dame de la Garde dominates everything from above. Recognizable symbol of the port. The Longchamp Palace, instead, with its gardens and monumental fountains, celebrates the arrival of drinking water in the city in the 19th century. Marseille is also an access point to the Calanques Park, which is a protected area of limestone cliffs and transparent waters. Dune of Pilot. The Duna Palette is the highest in Europe and is a true mountain of sand that faces the Atlantic Ocean. With its 110 meters in height and over 2 kilometers in length, or 306 firft in 1.2 miles, it represents one of the most imposing natural spectacles of the French coast. Climbing to the top, the gaze is lost between the blue of the ocean on one side and the intense green of the land's forest on the other. In the summer months, visitors climb along the wooden staircase or face barefoot the sand to reach the summit, while the marine wind blows constant and allows outdoor activities like paragliding, hang gliding, and kite surfing. Every year, currents and tides slowly move the dune toward the interior, modifying its dimensions and profile. Aquitaine. In the surroundings of the dune of Pilat, Aquitaine offers infinite beaches beaten by surface vineyards that produce renowned wines and fishing villages. Atlantic waves arrive powerful from Spain, creating perfect conditions for surfers from all over the interior. Bordeaux vineyards extend as far as the eye can see, giving some of the best French wines. There are also tranquil rivers, extensive forests, and small rural villages where life flows with a slow rhythm. It is a land where nature still dominates, maintaining a rare balance between ocean, countryside, and woods. Verdun Gorges. In southeastern France, the Verdun River has carved for millions of years one of the most spectacular canyons in Europe. Its turquoise waters flow between limestone rock walls up to 300 feet or 700 meters high. There are panoramic trails like the Sentier Blanc Martel that offer incredible views and allow discovering an environment rich in wildlife. Sports lovers can practice kayaking, climbing, or paragliding, while those seeking tranquility find characteristic villages like Moustier-Sainte-Marie. The gorges are part of a protected natural park created to preserve a fragile and unique ecosystem.